Hi, I'm Mike Raynard. I'm a train enthusiast from right here in Pickerington, Ohio. I want to welcome you today to the Transportation Roadshow.
In this presentation, the Pickerington Violet Township Historical Society and special guest Mike Raynard will describe the history of the railroads in Violet Township, the history of competition, of failure, and of fighting back stronger. The first railroad in Violet Township was the Columbus and Hocking Valley Railroad, which started construction in 1867 to connect Athens to the state capital. The railroad reached Athens in July 1870, having followed the Ohio Erie and then Hocking canals through Canal Winchester, Lancaster, and Nelsonville. The first railroad station in Violet Township was constructed in the small village of Pickerington, in the middle of Violet Township by the Columbus and Sunday Creek line. The Columbus and Sunday Creek line was a 64-mile-long railroad that connected the capital city to the coal fields of Perry County by way of Thurston, Rushville, and New Lexington.
1879, the train came through for the first time, and that was in the month of June in 1879. It was a two-car train operated by Columbus and Sunday Creek Line.
The C and SCL would then purchase the charter and take the name of the Ohio Central Railroad, completing a line between Toledo and Pomeroy in 1882 via Bucyrus, Granville, and Thurston, leaving the Columbus branch via Baltimore and Pickerington. The Pickerington Flour Mill opened along the branch in 1883, providing a convenient location for Violet Township area farmers to sell their grain. In 1880, the Columbus and Hocking Valley Railroad merged with two others to form the Columbus, Hocking Valley, and Toledo Railroad, connecting the Ohio River city of Gallipolis to Toledo, with a branch reaching to Pomeroy. Due to the similar routes, the companies began to compete for contracts and profits, looking both to strengthen their holds and appeal to customers and clients. This meant expansion and increased connectivity to other railroads. In 1885, the Ohio Central rebranded as the Toledo and Ohio Central Railroad, and its subsidiary, the Conahan Ohio, completed a line to Charleston, West Virginia.
The Toledo and Ohio Central Railroad came in after that time period. The railroad began to bring in mail, newspaper, fresh bread. Uh, we had mail order goods that you could order. It was sort of like a working with the old Penny's catalog. You could just order something, and it would probably be delivered by the train right here in Pickerington, Ohio. The train carried all kinds of passengers also. Now that was a train that went back and forth both ways.
By 1893, the Toledo and Ohio Central Railroad network extended to the New River Gorge in West Virginia and directly connected Columbus with Toledo.
But the train brought in a lot more people too. We had approximately 37 buildings at the time in 1865, and when the population at that time was about 150 people, but quickly the population grew to 250.
At the turn of the 20th century, the Toledo and Ohio Central was a world beater, with 6 scheduled passenger trains a day rumbling through Pickerington and long coal trains from West Virginia rumbling to industrial centers in Columbus, Toledo, and beyond. In addition to scheduled trains, the Toledo and Ohio Central would run charters and special trains for events, such as homecomings. Along the Hocking Valley line, the 1900s spelled trouble. Financial difficulties led to the reorganization of the line as the Hocking. However, amidst their troubles, the Hocking Valley Railroad built Lockville Station in 1905 and a replacement to Carroll's Depot, which had burned down in the same year. Even in these efforts, the Hocking Valley Railroad was losing out to a competitor, as in 1904, the Scioto Valley Traction Company had begun operating an electric interurban branch line from Canal to Lancaster that followed the old canals. Included in this interurban were 2 stations between Carroll and Canal Winchester, one of which was labeled as Lockville in the 1904 timetable. As the Hocking Valley lost out to its competitors, outside interests took notice. In 1910, the Chesapeake and Ohio Railroad made the Hocking Valley Railroad a full subsidiary in an attempt to connect their network to Columbus. The first automobile in Pickerington arrived and was assembled in 1913 for Dr. W. B. Taylor, having been delivered by rail to the platform. The Scioto Valley Traction Company's successor ended rail service along the Lancaster branch in June of 1930. In the same year, the Chesapeake and Ohio subsumed the Hocking Valley Railroad and deactivated Lockville Depot. The New York Central Railroad leased the Toledo and Ohio Central in 1928 before purchasing the system as a whole in 1938. Under the New York Central Railroad, service along the line through Pickerington decreased throughout the 1940s, leading to the closure of Pickerington passenger service in 1950, and all services to Pickerington Depot ended in 1958. The New York Central and Pennsylvania railroads, two of the largest railroads in the northeastern United States, merged together to form the Penn Central Railroad in 1968. Penn Central Railroad declared bankruptcy in 1970. The next 6 years across the Penn Central network were a mess, not resolved until the formation of the Federal Consolidated Rail Corporation, shortened to Conrail, in 1976. Conrail was created to save profitable lines throughout the northeastern United States, including the West Virginia Secondary through Pickerington, Ohio. Amidst the disorder sown through the Penn Central merger, in southern Violet Township, the Chesapeake and Ohio was beginning its own merger. In 1973, the Chesapeake and Ohio joined the Baltimore and Ohio and Western Maryland railroads in the Chessie system, with each railroad keeping their identities, though some redundant lines are closed, such as the connection between Athens and Nelsonville. In 1980, the Chessie system merged with the Seaboard Coast Line to form CSX Transportation, which led to further branch abandonment and removal. The formation of CSX and its indications of further abandonment of Southeastern Ohio line led to the fledgling Hocking Valley Scenic Railroad purchasing the alignment from Nelsonville to East Logan. In 1987, the Indiana Ohio Railway purchased the line from CSX's Parsons Yard to Logan, which it has maintained and operated ever since. Conrail was privatized in 1987 and later purchased and divided between Norfolk Southern and CSX in 1999. The West Virginia Secondary became part of Norfolk Southern's system. In 2016, Norfolk Southern began leasing the line to Watco companies, which established the Kanawha River Railroad, which currently operates the line. There are two active railroad lines in Violet Township today. Alignments that have withstood nearly a century and a half of history, of rivalries, of success, and of failure. At one point in time, 3 railroad station buildings stood within the township. However, as of 2026, that number has dropped to 1. The Toledo and Ohio Central's Pickerington Depot building is currently the home of the Pickerington Area Chamber of Commerce, while the section house is used for music lessons.
I think you can learn a lot by a lot of times just being in your car and sitting behind the when the cross signal comes down and you're sitting there and the guy comes through with the train. Give him a wave. He's going to wave back at you. They're very friendly people, and but it's vital to Pickerington the growth that the trains have given us, and we're so much better for having the trains and the transportation we're able to get from them. Hopefully you'll have a great day, and we want to thank you so much for being here today.